Like, there's literally times I thought I'm depressed and nothing's happened. But it's literally just because I'm so overwhelmed with trying to be consistent. Someone could show you in the future that you did all of that. You literally did everything you could and you still didn't make it. You still, I'm going to say technically failed. I'll explain why I say technically. But you still, like, wherever you're at now in life, that's as good as it got. Like, your dreams don't come true, basically. If that happened, would you still do this? I feel like this idea of doing something you're passionate about gets thrown around all the time. Like, I feel like a lot of people think they're passionate about it, but really they're not. And I think one of the best ways to answer that question for yourself about whether you're actually passionate about what creative thing you're trying to do is you gotta think like, okay guys, welcome back to another episode. I haven't actually properly come up with a name for these kind of videos I'm going to be doing. I think I'm probably going to call it something like Emotivation. If you haven't noticed already, I literally put E in front of like every different type of content I make. Like, it's kind of like a running theme I'm trying to have going. So yeah, this is probably going to be what I call Emotivation, where I just talk about like things I've learned during my own content creation journey, trying to, you know, chase my creative dreams, trying to have my own business. That's essentially what I'm trying to do in my life right now at this stage. And yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of things I've experienced and encountered in my journey that have been hard to overcome. And I've realized there's a lot of people who want to do things like this, like chase their dreams essentially. And there's a lot of people want to make content online, like it's a popular thing in this generation to do. There's a lot of challenges that come with it that, you know, I guess other people out there are probably struggling with just like me. And I feel like it's important, you know, to share different solutions, different kinds of advice you can give to help other people going through the same things as you. So that's kind of the purpose of this video. I can talk about more on that later, but the topic of this video is essentially going to be about one of the key mindsets that I feel like you need to adopt in order to really give yourself the best chances and the highest possibility of making it. Yeah, before I continue, obviously, I hate doing this, but like, flipping like, comment, subscribe the video, like, yeah, you know all that shit. Anyways, so yeah, one of the key mindsets that you need if you want to give yourself the best chances of making it in the content creation game. To be honest, I still got a long way to go, I'll be real. But I feel like there's things that you can just even notice in, you know, people around you, some of your role models that you might look up to, the mindset they've clearly adopted that have helped them get to where they want to be. And like, even if you haven't made it, I talked about this a bit in the last video, but even if you haven't made it, like, you can still learn a lot of things that you know are helping you progress. So there's a lot of different mindsets that I feel like someone trying to do content creation or grow a business might need. But one of the main ones that I feel like have really stood out to me, and I feel like have been key to helping me be consistent, because I'll be real, I'm not the most consistent person. Like, I've been doing this for like, I started around 2019, it's 2022 now. I've been doing this for like 3 years now. I think I've had points close to a year like of not posting anything, and even now, every now and then, maybe I might go a couple months not posting, but there's definitely been times where I'm flipping consistent. I can't even lie. Like, there's been time when I did that A Milli series, like, I literally posted like every day after that. Do you know what I mean? And quickly edited things like straight after I'd filmed them. Do you know what I mean? It was quite intense. Like, if you've done content creation, you know how that kind of turnover might be quite intense. But there's important mindsets that you need to instill in your approach to life that are definitely going to help you maintain the level of consistency that you need to go all the way with this. And I think one of the best mindsets that I've come across is this idea that, like, okay, let me just break this down with like a scenario. You have to get to a point where if someone from the future could come and show you what your future would look like, maybe you're someone who's trying to go on their own content creation journey, or, you know, chase their dreams, grow a business, whatever. I kind of just put all those things in the same bracket, I'll be honest. But yeah, hopefully the people watching this can relate to that. If someone could come from the future and show you that you could have done everything right, put in all the work, literally made all the sacrifices, like missed out on so many different fun activities and all of that. Like literally, because I feel like sometimes when you're trying to do this, it gets to a point in this life where you have to choose like short-term enjoyment versus like making a lot of sacrifice for long-term gains. Someone could show you in the future that you did all of that. You literally did everything you could and you still didn't make it. You still, I'm going to say technically failed. I'll explain why I say technically, but you still, like, wherever you're at now in life, that's as good as it got. Like, your dreams don't come true, basically. If that happened, would you still do this? Would you know that, and would you still go on this journey and try to chase these dreams? The reason I say this, I feel like the mindset you need is you need to get to a point where even if that was the case, even if you could see into the future and see that you don't make it, like everything you're trying to do was technically a waste of time, it doesn't get you the outcome that you want. You have to get to a point where you can know that and still do this. You can feel like that will be the outcome and you would still do exactly everything you're doing now. You would still try to chase these dreams. Now, this might sound like a bit dumb. This might sound like, why would anyone like waste their time trying to chase their dreams for something that like you just know ain't gonna work? See, the problem is, the key with that mindset is it ensures that you're doing it for the right reasons. And why that's important is because I feel like only people trying to do this for the right reasons, and I'll explain what the right reasons are later, only those people are going to go all the way. Only those people are going to be consistent for as long as you need to be to have a chance of making it. Let's be real, like, as I've grown up, I've realized, you know, life's not a fairy tale. And the odds of you kind of having that ideal life you've always envisioned when you're younger, is the odds are against you. It's very unlikely that everything you want is going to come true. Like, we can talk about that in another video. But I think the point I'm trying to make is the mindset you need to give yourself the best chance of making your dreams come true has to be, you have to be so resilient and so have so much tunnel vision to the point that nothing's gonna like steer you off track. And you're only gonna have that level of dedication if you're doing something you're genuinely passionate about. I feel like this idea of doing something you're passionate about gets thrown around all the time. Like, a lot of people, you know, when they try to do these kind of things like start a business or make certain kind of videos, I feel like a lot of people think they're passionate about it, but really they're not. And I think one of the best ways to answer that question for yourself about whether you're actually passionate about what creative thing you're trying to do is you gotta think like, if I did all of this and I didn't make a lot of money from it, or I didn't blow from it, or whatever, you know, we kind of know the typical things like people want to achieve, like people want to get big, people want to be known for what it is that they're doing. You gotta get to a point where if that didn't happen, you would have still had a good life. You would feel like this wasn't a waste of time. It wasn't even about that, if that makes sense. Like, for me, for example, like, I feel like one of the reasons why I'm still doing this shit, like, I was doing this shit before I had facial hair, or when I had like patchy facial hair. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe it's still a bit patchy. Anyways, the point is, like, I've been doing this shit for a couple years now, and when I started this, there was a lot of other people around me that started a lot of different businesses and like putting themselves out there online and stuff like that. Like, it was during the lockdown as well, so there was all this, like, a lot of people were bored, a lot of people wanted to do stuff to feel busy, and you know, a lot of people started their own business, creative journeys, whatever. And there's a lot of people that whatever they started all those years ago, they're just not doing it anymore. And I'm not even throwing shade, because I know it's hard, but that's why, it's because it's so hard. That's why I'm trying to warn, or just put out there to whoever's watching this, like, even if this just helps one person who's at this like same stage of life where they're trying to make their dreams come true, like, you got to make sure that you are doing something you genuinely just want to be doing anyways, just for the sake of doing it, literally, like, because you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. This shit's gonna get hard. Like, the problem is, I feel like our dreams, we all get our dreams when we're young, and like, life ain't real when you're young. Like, you're not thinking about the fact that you're gonna need a job at some point, or like, you know, that job you probably do is gonna be something you don't really enjoy. So you're gonna wanna, like, at the end of the week, like on the weekends, you're gonna just wanna escape and like just enjoy life and just do dumb fun things like go out for friends with drinks and stuff like that. Just socialize. Like, more time. Like, I think a lot of adults who started working, you get to a point where, your life is literally just work, and then all the hours outside of work is literally just you trying to trying to trying to feel better again about your shitty work life, basically. Like, you're literally just trying to escape from your problems through in the weekdays. Like, you're literally just trying to escape in the weekends. But the problem is, like I've said in the last video, you're gonna have to get to a point where you're doing both. You're maintaining that job that's funding your lifestyle, that's funding your dreams. You're gonna have to get to a point where you're doing that, and with all the extra hours you get, maybe not all of them, but with most of them, you're gonna want to dedicate majority of those hours outside of work towards whatever your dream is. Yeah, you're gonna want to dedicate all those outside hours to whatever your dream is. And that's gonna come with a lot of sacrifice that after a couple months, most people aren't gonna be willing to continue making those sacrifices. Now, what do I mean by sacrifice? I mean, like, at some points you might not be able to always go out on the weekends with your friends. At some points, like, after you finish work around 5, 6, 7, whatever, you might just want to watch TV or something, or you might just want to watch Love Island. That's something like, I can't lie, I've been, instead of working on my content creation and stuff, like, I've literally just been watching that. But you might just want to phone up your friends and just talk for the rest of the night before you have to go to bed early, just to wake up early to go to whatever job you're doing that's funding pretty much all aspects of your life. It gets hard. It gets really hard being able to, because realistically, what you're going to have to do if you want to go all the way with this, you're going to have to not do that all the time. You're going to have to, some weekends, literally dedicate that whole weekend to growing your business or planning things for whatever creative thing you're trying to do. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice the weekends to that. A lot of the times you're going to have to sacrifice your evenings for that. So you might not be able to socialize as much as you want to. You might not be able to do a lot of hobbies and fun activities as much as you want to. Like, you're literally, like, trying to chase your dreams is literally going to impact every aspect of your life in one shape or another. And it can get really depressing. Like, you know what? Yeah, I feel like this is my second video with this style of video, yeah, this motivational content. And it seems like I'm coming with such a negative approach. Like I just want to put out there, like, I'm all about chasing your passions, chasing your dreams. I think it's one of the most fulfilling ways to live life. But I'll be real, this shit can get depressing. Like, there is a lot of negative aspects with trying to do this that a lot of people, I just haven't seen that many people talking about. Like there's literally times I thought I'm depressed and nothing's happened. But it's literally just because I'm so overwhelmed with trying to be consistent. Do you know what I mean? And then that's when I started deeping. Like, there was times I had these thoughts like, imagine after all these sacrifices I've made. I don't even think I've made that many sacrifices, but there's been a lot of weekends like I couldn't chill with my friends. I couldn't even chill with my family too tough. A lot of times, like, I look at how my life is going and I realize, like, I'm not actually having as much fun as I could be having. Do you know what I mean? Especially, like, at this age, I'm in my early 20s. Like, I've started making money because I'm able to work full time now. I don't have education in a way. I can literally do what I want with my life. And it's very enticing for a lot of people at this stage of life to just want to work, make money, and then use that money to just enjoy your life outside of work. And it's like, the path I've chosen by trying to make my dreams come true and sacrificing all the extra hours I get to try and do that it's not the most fun, enjoyable life. And this is why I'm saying, like, if you want to maximize your chances of making it, you have to kind of accept that's going to be the case, and you have to be okay with that. That's all I'm saying. And it's all right if you're not okay with that. I feel like most people just wouldn't be okay with that. Like, the idea that you could make all these sacrifices and not make it, and not succeed in whatever it is that you're trying to do. And that links me back to something else I wanted to talk about. Like, earlier I mentioned, like, you have to be okay with technically failing and after having made all these sacrifices. The reason why I say that is because I think if this is a mindset you do want to approach, you've got to redefine your ideas of success and failure. This is probably something I'm going to talk about a lot in these videos that I make, because I think a lot of people view success as something that's like an end point that you reach, and failures if you don't reach that end point. You know, just to be quite, basic, I think a lot of people view success as, making a lot of money from what you're doing and maybe becoming famous from whatever it is that you're trying to do. Especially with like us creatives, like most of us are trying to make it in acting or like music, or, trying to be an influencer online or whatever. A lot of us view success as getting to that point where everyone knows us for what we're doing and we're famous for it or something. Maybe you don't, but I just feel like a lot of people do. And I feel like that's the type of ideology that those kind of thoughts can like make it hard to be okay with the fact that you might put in all the work, you might do everything right, and you still might not make it. But I think a better way of viewing success versus failure is viewing success as literally just putting in the work every day, like just being brave enough to go on the journey anyways. And I honestly think if you view it that way, you can only fail if you stop, if you give up. As long as you don't give up, you can't fail, and you're literally getting all your value in terms of success just from being on the journey. Like, for example, what I tell myself anyways is that the fact that I'm still doing this after, it's been like 3 years since I started, and I'm still nowhere near exactly where I want to be with this, but I still feel like I've succeeded because I haven't given up. And I feel like that's why I'm able to feel like I have this mindset where even if, I get to a point where I'm 50 or 60 years old and like I still haven't blown from this, or I'm still not making that much money from this. I'm not making any money from this right now. All I've done is spend money on equipment and shit like for this. That's another conversation though. But even if it gets to that point, like, because I value just the journey, all I can say is it helps me be okay with that potential future, which is very likely to be the case. I'll admit, I'll be so honest, is very likely. Like, if we just look at the stats and like think about how many people actually make it in this life, how many people actually get to a point where they're living their dreams full time, and the amount of people that don't, the amount of people that just have like and there's nothing wrong with this life, but like, if we're just being real, like, it's a more normal, typical lifestyle where you just do your 9-to-5 job, and you just make like an average salary from that, and you just enjoy what life has to offer outside of your careers and passions and all of that. Like, there's more people on that side of life, do you know what I mean? So I know it's very unlikely that everything that I've envisioned would come true, but that's fine, because I'm finding fulfillment just from being on the journey and all the things I'm learning from doing this. Like, I feel like it's like gym, like when you take on the same way when you take on gym, like, you have to you learn a lot about life, like how to sacrifice short-term pleasure for like long-term gains. Like, you learn how to be disciplined, one thing that I feel like gym teaches you is like how to, and this is an important thing that it teaches you, I think it really teaches you how to do things that you won't see the benefits of immediately, and it might take years to see the benefits of. And I feel like that's trying to grow a business and be successful in that, or trying to chase your dreams and be successful in that, like, it's literally the same thing. Like, it's really rewarding in the sense that you're learning an important skill, which is, I guess, delayed gratification, and literally doing things that aren't necessarily fun, that more time you can't really be fucked to do, and you'd rather just like chill with your friends or watch TV or do something else that's more enjoyable in the moment. But you're sacrificing those things, and you're doing all this hard stuff for the hope of like a better future, for the hope that at some point you might benefit from all this work you've put in. I ain't got that much time left, so, and I don't want to waffle in this video, so I'm just gonna cut it a bit short. But like, yeah, I honestly think if you can get to a point where you know, you could see yourself like not making it in the way that you want to make it, and you're aware of that, and you're still, you know, passionate about chasing these dreams that you might have. One, that means you're doing it for the right reasons, and that is something you're probably actually passionate about. Like that is like, I feel like, you know, people might think they're passionate about something, but they're not really. They're more in it for the clout or the potential amount of money they can be making from it. And if that's the case, you really gotta work out if that's the case for you or not. Because if that is the case, you're not gonna do it for a long time, because it's very hard to make a good amount of money from these different kind of things. And at some point when the going gets tough, you're just not gonna want to keep doing it anymore, because soft life is just gonna seem more appealing in that moment. But if you're calm with literally like wherever you're at in life now, if you're calm of maintaining that level that you're at in life and still making all the sacrifices that you're probably making now to chase your dreams, I feel like you could probably go all the way. Like you are more likely to be consistent than the other type of person, because you can't be phased. You like the L's can't phase you. Like you're just gonna keep going. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. If it does, like, yeah, let me know what your thoughts on this topic. Like, yeah, like I always say, make sure to give this video a like, comment what you think below, and yeah, even comment what other kind of things that you might have gone through in your creative journey, and let me know if you want me to speak about that stuff, if I can. And yeah, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this kind of content, you want to see more of this. Realistically, I'm gonna keep making these kind of videos, but it'll be nice to know if people are actually benefiting from this, innit? But I'm gonna end it there. Thank you for watching, and in a bit.